Imagine a world where justice was not about rehabilitation, not about fairness, not even about mercy. Imagine a time when punishment was designed not just to kill, but to terrify, to humiliate, and to break the human spirit before the body died. Today, we look back at history and assume cruelty belonged only to tyrants and criminals. But the truth is far more unsettling. Some of the most brutal punishments in history were legal, public, and celebrated, executed in town squares, witnessed by children, justified as necessary. In this video, we explore history's most brutal punishments. Methods so extreme they sound unreal, yet were once considered justice. One of the most horrifying execution devices ever created came from ancient Greece. The Brazen Bull was a hollow statue made entirely of bronze, shaped like a massive bull. A victim was locked inside through a hidden door. Then a fire was lit underneath. As the metal heated, the person inside was slowly roasted alive. But here's the part that chills historians to this day. The bull was engineered with a system of tubes so that when the victim screamed, the sound emerged from the bull's mouth as a deep, animal-like roar. To the crowd, it didn't sound like suffering. It sounded like art. Legend says the inventor of the Brazen Bull was executed inside his own creation, proving that in history, cruelty often consumed its creators too. Ancient Persia devised a punishment so disturbing it feels fictional. It was called Scaphism, meaning boat. The victim was forced between two hollowed-out boats or logs, with only their head, hands, and feet exposed. Then came the real horror. They were force-fed milk and honey, which caused severe diarrhea. The same sticky mixture was poured all over their body, left floating in stagnant water. The victim became a living feast. Insects, flies, maggots, and rodents slowly consumed them alive, biting and burrowing, laying eggs inside open wounds. Death did not come quickly. It took days sometimes, weeks. Scaphism wasn't about execution. It was about prolonged decay. For centuries in imperial China, there existed a punishment reserved for the worst crimes. Lynching, often translated as death by 1,000 cuts. The executioner would slice small pieces of flesh from a victim's body, sometimes beginning with the chest, sometimes the limbs. The goal was not speed. The goal was public suffering. In later years, the punishment also carried spiritual terror. The belief was that a mutilated body meant a damaged afterlife. Death could take minutes or hours, depending on the sentence. Lynching was finally abolished in the early 20th century, a reminder of how recently humanity stepped away from ritualized cruelty. Medieval Europe perfected punishment as spectacle. The breaking wheel was a large wooden wheel mounted on a pole. The victim was tied. Across it, limbs spread wide. Then, using an iron bar or a hammer, the executioner systematically shattered bones. Arms first, then legs, sometimes finishing with a blow to the chest or neck. In some cases, victims were left alive on the wheel for hours or days, slowly dying from shock, exposure, or internal injuries. Crowds gathered. Children watched. Justice was a performance. Perhaps no punishment is more infamous than impalement. Perfected by Vlad the Impaler, a sharpened wooden stake was inserted through the body, usually through the lower abdomen, and positioned so it avoided vital organs. The victim didn't die instantly. Gravity did the work. Over hours, sometimes days, the body slowly slid downward as a stake, pierced organs one by one. Victims often remained, conscious for much of it. Entire forests of impaled bodies were displayed as warnings, turning terror into political strategy. Used extensively in Spain, the garrote looked almost humane by comparison. The condemned sat on a chair with a metal collar locked around their neck. Behind them, an executioner turned a screw. As it tightened, the collar crushed the spinal cord or strangled the victim. Some died quickly, others didn't. The garrote reminds us that brutality isn't always loud or chaotic. Sometimes it's mechanical. Naval punishment had its own horrors. Keel hauling involved tying a sailor to a rope end, dragging them underneath a ship from one side to the other. The underside of ships was covered in barnacles and sharp growths. Victims were often skinned alive, drowned, or bled to death. Survival depended on luck and how fast the crew pulled the rope. This punishment blurred the line between discipline and execution. These methods weren't accidents. They served three purposes. 1. Deterrence. Fear was law. 2. Control. Pain reinforced authority. 3. Spectacle. Suffering became public theater. Justice wasn't meant to correct behavior. It was meant to dominate the mind. It's easy to dismiss these punishments as relics of a savage past. But history doesn't disappear. It evolves. The tools change. The justifications change. But the question remains: how much suffering can a society justify in the name of order? Understanding these punishments isn't about shock value. It's about remembering what humans are capable of when empathy is replaced by fear. Because history doesn't repeat itself exactly, but it rhymes. And only those who remember its darkest verses can hope not to write them again. If you value deep, unfiltered history that challenges what we think we know, Welcome to Renaissance Reframed.